I just cleaned their brooder out the other day, and it's a hot mess now, but I feel like every time I come in here to look at them, I feel like they're just getting huge. And your water's dirty again. What did you do? So, more on the chick update aspect. I did not realize that they grew as fast as they did. Like, these birds grow very, very fast, and I had no idea that they grew as quickly as they have grown. And we did move them out to, I don't think I ever mentioned this, but we did move them out to the garage because they needed more space, and the brooder out there was bigger, and so they are enjoying themselves out there 100 times more. Yeah, I mean, we did switch their feed. They already went through 25 pounds in 2 weeks, and they are now onto a 50-pound bag. And we got that at a local feed store. These Buff Orpingtons. This is my shoulder chicken. I wanted a chicken that would sit on my shoulder, and like this Buff Orpington will just do it. So that is how she ended up becoming my like shoulder chicken. Look at that butt. Yes, you have a adorable butt. It's so fluffy. It's so small. But she is, so far, she's the only one that does enjoy the adventures outside, like to come out with me. But that is why we're trying to get the we would like to get the chicken the run part of their coop done so we can let them have outdoor time, because they are due their outdoor time, and we need to kind of have them all out there at once, and that would give them a secure place to do that. So that is what they're waiting for the most part, is just for that area to get done. But in the meantime, I'll just take them out one at a time. And this one's the only one that really likes to come out by itself. Like, the rest of them get very uptight, and they do not like to be outside by themselves. But this Buff Orpington is just very sociable, and she's very sweet. We love her. All of the chickens are very sweet, but a lot of them do have like stronger personalities, like the Rhode Island Reds. Actually, the Starlight Green Eggers have a very strong personality. The Orpingtons have a very, very sweet disposition, so they're very, very nice. Now, I brought the black one out, and it actually is more active than more interactive, I would say, in a way, than the Buff Orpington. Like, this one got up, flew onto my back, like, it's pretty wild. This one just did it. Wow. Running away. Okay, so I think what I've discovered is maybe the black sex lynx, at least this one, is not afraid to be outside. It is very curious and will actually run in the opposite direction. So, good thing to note. The morning glories I planted are coming up. So these are the heavenly blue, not this, but these are the heavenly blue morning glory seedlings, and they've come up on both sides. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over here, or 5, and then I have, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over here. This one's a little wilty, but they're looking so good. I think that this trellis, or this arbor, will be so pretty when it's covered in those morning glory blossoms. I think it'll just be so beautiful. Yesterday was Sunday. It was Easter Sunday. And we were going to wake up on Monday today, and we were going to work on the chicken coop. That was our plan. But Josh is feeling just a little bit under the weather, and so we decided to hold off on that because we have the majority of our wire on it, but we just need to finish it. And then once that's done, there's just some odds and ends to tie up before it's truly finished. I have more than enough projects to keep me occupied for the meantime, hence all the weeds. And I also have some tilling, and I have to find a place to put some raspberry bushes, so I have stuff to do. So just a little peep as to what's going on out here. So We dug a trench that goes 1 foot out away from the coop and then goes down a foot. And what we're doing is we're burying the wire, because if something digs in there, it won't be able to get into the actual coop, the run, and get to the chickens. So that is why we were doing that. And yeah, there we go. There's a water line in there that it connects directly to the well and goes all the way underneath here. Oops, it's windy. Pops up on this side and then goes over there. So we still have this side to do. We got that side over here is done all the way up, actually. It's completely done. We still have to do the door. We got this halfway up, and then we have this whole side left to do. So we're definitely getting there bit by bit, but in the meantime, we have a little bit of an onion dilemma going on over here. So basically what ended up happening is my onions have started bolting, and that is not what I want to see on these plants. So this is definitely not a complete fail or complete loss, because this is still entirely usable even though it has bolted. Now, what causes an onion to bolt is typically stress. So most plants, when they are stressed out, they go into reproductive mode. They go into survival mode. And survival mode means for plants reproducing, creating seed. And so if you are, now a lot of plants, like tomatoes, for example, when they're stressed, their leaves will curl, and that could be a lack of water, too much water at once after going through a drought. So that is why watering consistently is so important for plants, because having that jerked around too much can stress the plants out. But as for onions, our situation was that we had an abnormally cold winter, and these were planted in, I believe, October, or I think these were planted in October, and we just had a really abnormally cold year, and it caused them to go to flower, it caused them to go to seed. And once that happens, these are not going to fill out. These are not going to create those big onions that you get in the store that you chop up and use for cooking. You're just not going to get that now. And so the way to deal with that is to go ahead and eat these onions fresh, can them, do whatever you want with them. Just start eating them up. And whatever out here didn't bolt, just leave it alone, and hopefully it'll create a nice bulb at the end. Now some of these, if you want to save seeds, if you want to save seeds from your onion plants or your garlic plants or something like that, you will let some of them go to seed and they'll flower, but that takes away from the bulb part that we eat, that we like. And the bulb has all the nutrients and the energy for the flower, so once it goes to flower, you lose all of that energy in that bulb, and it's not going to get nice and big. So I will definitely let some of these, specifically probably the red onions and the sweet onions, I will probably let those go to seed so I can save some seed from those. But with the majority of these, I will try and get them harvested, and we'll just try and eat more raw, fresh onions, or cook with more onions or something until we can get them eaten up. Once again, it's definitely not ideal, but it is what it is. You can't control the weather. You can just do your best with what's going on around you and adapt. So these here are collard greens that actually I did not plant. They just showed up in the garden, and they have just been absolutely lovely. We had a cold year once again, so not a lot of pests, not a lot of issues with that. So what I want to show you over here is that some of these have gone to seed, but if you look at it here, it's sending off all these little clusters of flowers in here, which actually taste really good. They taste like broccoli. And they are going to seed. They're going into survival mode because it's gotten really hot out here. And so these little things here, these are the little yellow flowers, and these turn into tiny little bean-like pods that get nice and long and fill out. They will completely dry out, and you will have collard green seeds, so you can grow your own collards. I don't see any on here, but that's what they should look like. That's what your collard plants should look like. But they get bigger, and they start doing this when it gets hot. So that's an example of just a bolted collard plant. Lettuce will do the same thing. Kale will do the same thing. Broccoli is actually when it just starts to get ready to bolt, and you harvest that head. So it's almost like harvesting the blossoms of a bolting plant. And I mean, it's one of those things, once again, it's not ideal. It happens. It is what it is. You can't control the weather. It can happen to absolutely anybody. And the reason I'm showing you that is because I don't want you to feel bad if you have something go wrong in your garden. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I appreciate it when I'm scrolling and somebody's like, I've gardened for however many years and this happened to me today, and I just want to remind you all that it happens to the best of us. And I'm like, yep, amen, because it does. It does. It doesn't matter, because that's something I couldn't control. Like, for our area in the South, you need to be planting onions. If you want a good onion harvest, especially with big bulbs, the best way to get that is by planting them in September, October, November, in that time frame, and harvesting them, later on in time. And I did everything right, but the weather was non-conducive. And sometimes that's how it is. Sometimes you feel like you do everything right and it still doesn't go your way. And it's perfectly fine. It's just a part of it. And besides, if it did all go your way all the time, it would be so boring. It just adds another layer of spice to life, and it keeps things mixed up. Thank you so much for tuning in with me today. If you liked this video, please let me know by giving a big thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. If you'd like to stick around, you can click that big red subscribe button. And if you never want to miss a brand new upload, you can click that bell icon. Feel free to drop a comment down below. I would love to hear from you all. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will see you all later. Bye-bye.